Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about immune system. So, immunity. What is immunity? It is the ability of an individual to fight against a pathogen. Okay, so immunity एक इंडिविजुअल की वो एबिलिटी है या फिर कैपेसिटी है जो कि रेजिस्ट करेगा एनी पैथोजन एंड माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म सो दैट दे कांट कॉज एनी डिसीज और इन्फेक्शन टू अस. Okay, types of immunity. There are two types of immunity, that is innate and acquired immunity. So innate immunity and acquired immunity. innate immunity ऐसी immunity है जो कि हमारे पास by the birth होती है, that is we are born with it. We are born with this. Okay. Whereas this acquired immunity is a kind of immunity जो कि हम सीखेंगे, that is we will learn. We will learn this immunity. Okay, कैसे करेंगे? Because previous exposure. Okay, ऐसी इम्यूनिटी जो हमारे पास बाय बर्थ होती है उसे हम कहते हैं innate immunity या फिर इसे inborn immunity भी कहा जाता है. And this is acquired immunity, ऐसी इम्यूनिटी जो हम by the time सीखते हैं. It is also known as adaptive immunity. Okay, so the other name is inborn immunity and here it is adaptive immunity. Okay, so let's talk about innate immunity now. Innate immunity is non-specific. Okay, non-specific means like foreign particles जो भी हो, जैसे बैक्टीरिया हो गया, वायरस हो गया, it has nothing to do with that. इसे क्या चाहिए? It is not specific at all. जो भी है, it will fight against it, it will destroy it. That is innate immunity. Innate immunity का क्या काम है कि immediate response करेगा and it is non-specific in nature, whereas adaptive immunity is highly specific in nature. It has a specific response for every single antigen. Okay, and the second thing is it gives immediate response. Okay, जैसे ही कोई फॉरेन पार्टिकल हमारी बॉडी के अंदर एंटर करेगा, इट विल गिव अ इमीडिएट रिस्पॉन्स, दैट इज इनेट इम्यूनिटी. हियर द रिस्पॉन्स इज क्वाइट स्लो. Compared to this, it is slow. Okay, again present at the birth. Innate immunity is present at birth, whereas this adaptive immunity we develops this after birth. Develops after birth. Okay. And another feature of this is it doesn't keep any memory of the pathogen, but here it keeps memory. ये क्या करेगा? ये स्पेसिफिक है, राइट? तो यहाँ पे स्पेसिफिक एंटीबॉडीज प्रोड्यूस होंगे स्पेसिफिक एंटीजन के लिए, सो इट विल कीप अ मेमोरी ऑफ द एंटीजन. ये एंटीजन की मेमोरी अपने पास रखता है सो दैट अगर सेम एंटीजन फिर से हमें अटैक करे तो ये उसके ऊपर जल्दी से रिएक्ट कर सके एंड देन इट विल डिस्ट्रॉय द एंटीजन. ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट इज responses are same for all the invaders. Okay, to the foreign invaders the responses will be same. फॉरेन इन्वेडर्स सच एज बैक्टीरिया, वायरस जो भी है, उन सभी के लिए रेस्पॉन्सेस सेम होंगे इन द केस ऑफ innate immunity, while in adaptive immunity the responses will going to differ depending on the invader. Okay, जैसे ही invader होगा उसके अकॉर्डिंग हमारी जो एक्वायर्ड इम्यूनिटी है वो हमें the responses is differ depending on the invader. बैक्टीरिया होगा तो इसके लिए response अलग होगा, वायरस होगा तो अलग होगा. For every specific pathogen, this adaptive immunity will going to respond in a different way. Okay, so these are the characteristics of innate immunity and acquired immunity. We will summarize this. Innate immunity is an immunity. Innate immunity is an immunity which we are born with it. It is a non-specific type and it gives an immediate response present at the birth. No memory, it doesn't keep any memory, and the response is seen for all the foreign invaders. Whereas adaptive immunity, it is a specific immunity and the responses is slow, develops after birth. We develop it over a period of time and it keeps the memory of the pathogen, and then the responses are different for every single pathogen. It is highly specific. Okay, so this is about characteristics of innate immunity and adaptive immunity. Okay, let's go in detail about innate immunity. We'll talk about the barriers. There are 4 types of barriers. Those are physical barrier, physiological barrier, and cellular barrier, and also cytokines. Okay, in physical barrier, there is skin, body hair, cilia, eyelashes, and respiratory tract. These all are considered as physical barrier. In physiological barrier, HCl in stomach. HCl is a best example for innate immunity because it burns. You don't know whether it is bacteria or virus. It will just burn it, right? So, and again, saliva in our mouth and tears in eyes. These are act as physiological barriers. And the third one is cellular barrier. Cellular barrier means cells. The cells which are involved in innate immunity, which fight against the disease, which fight against the pathogen. Those are leukocytes, WBCs, lymphocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and monocytes. Okay, these are all the cells which are involved in cellular barriers. We will talk about these cells in detail in the next video. And cytokines. Cytokines is the 4th type of barrier in which the interferons, that is a special protein, is responsible for forming a coat around the infected cell. What does interferons do? This forms a coat around the infected cells. This is our infected cell. Let's say this is our infected cell. This form a coat around the infected cells that prevents the further infection. So this is about the barriers of innate immunity. There are 4 types of barrier: physical barrier, physiological barrier, cellular barrier, and cytokines. In physical barrier, we have seen skin, hair, eyelashes, respiratory tract, and in physiological barrier, HCl, saliva, and tears. In cellular barriers, there are WBCs, that is lymphocytes, neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, and monocytes. In lymphocytes, there are 2 types, right? B cells and T cells, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Okay. So, cytokines. Cytokines here have interferons, which are special protein which forms a coat around the infected cell and prevents the further infection. Okay, so let's move further and let's go deeper into acquired immunity now. Adaptive immunity or acquired immunity. And thus, there are further divisions, that is, adaptive immunity can be natural and also artificial. Okay, in natural and artificial, they are further divided into passive, active, passive naturally acquired immunity and active naturally acquired immunity. Similarly, passive artificial immunity and active artificial immunity. Naturally acquired passive immunity, the antibodies are, firstly, what is passive? The passive word suggests that we are doing nothing. Okay, we are doing nothing. In active, we are doing something. Okay, जब हम कुछ कर रहे होते हैं, जब हमारा कुछ efforts उसमें पड़ रहे हैं, तो we will call it as active. And if it is we are not doing anything, then we will consider it as passive. So in passive natural immunity, the antibodies are, we are getting the antibodies from our mother through placenta and breastfeeding or through placenta, we get some antibodies. We call it as naturally passive immunity. Okay, acquired immunity. So similarly, in naturally active immunity, the antigens enter our body. As the infection occurs, body forms antibodies. So यहाँ पे हमने externally कुछ नहीं किया, ठीक है, हमने बाहर से कुछ नहीं खाया. We didn't take any antibacterial or antifungal or antiviral thing. But what happened is, एंटीजन जैसे ही हमारी बॉडी के अंदर एंटर करेगा, our body will form antibodies. Okay. So this in this type we call it as active naturally adaptive immunity because यहाँ पर हमारी बॉडी कुछ काम कर रही है. So this is a active, okay. And यहाँ पर जैसे हमारी बॉडी कुछ नहीं कर रही, so we call it as passive. In this form, we are getting the antibodies from our mother. Okay. So next one is artificial passive and artificial active. In artificial passive acquired immunity, here performed antibodies are introduced to our body. In the sense, the performed antibodies means antibodies, I say antibodies जो कि बाहर से बने हुए हैं. We have made it, okay, man-made antibodies को हम लेंगे. When we take those antibodies so that the infection level goes down or it will kill the pathogen, that type of immunity we call it as passive artificial acquired immunity. Example is antiserum, which contains antibodies. Okay, so in active, these are vaccines. Okay, vaccines are the best example for active artificial adaptive immunity. Okay, so now let's talk about another two types of immunity, that is humoral immunity and cell-mediated immunity. यहाँ पे बहुत सारे बच्चे कंफ्यूज कर लेते हैं. So अच्छे से देखो, it is very simple. The humoral and cell-mediated immune responses are the adaptive responses. Okay, so in this, let's talk about humoral immunity first. Humoral immune response, it is mediated by B lymphocytes, that is B cells, and involves in the production of antibodies that circulate in the body fluids. Okay. So यहाँ पे क्या होगा, जो हमारे जो B cells होंगे ना, B lymphocytes, those B lymphocytes gets activated with the help of helper T cells, and ये ना दो टाइप्स के सेल्स बनाएंगे, ठीक है. ये एक होगा प्लाज्मा सेल and the other one will going to be the memory cell. Okay, so this is our B cell, then this is our plasma cell with antibodies, right? So दो टाइप्स के सेल बनेंगे, एक होगा बी सेल से दो टाइप के सेल्स बनेंगे with the help of helper T cells. Those will going to be the plasma cell and the memory cell. These plasma cells are responsible for production of antibodies. They secrete specific antibodies. Okay, they will going to secrete the specific antibodies, and the memory cell, and the memory cell का काम क्या होगा? They will keep memory of the pathogen. Okay, this provide long-term immunity. We can say it like this, right? So cell-mediated immunity, it is mediated by T lymphocyte and does not involve any antibody. Humoral immunity was mediated by B lymphocytes, जबकि यहाँ पे T lymphocytes होंगे, and वहाँ पे production of antibody होता था because B cells are responsible for the production of antibody, but here there is no involvement of production of antibodies or antibody. Okay, so they are crucial for intracellular pathogens. Okay, infected cell को recognize करेगा CD8 cell with the help of MSC1 molecule, and जो CD4 cell है वो recognize करेगा antigen presenting cells को which are present on the MSC2, and they secrete the cytokines which further stimulate the other immune cells so that they can gather so that they can gather and they can kill the pathogen. Okay, and here the memory T cells helps in the foster response because memory T cells जो होंगे वो बताएंगे कि ये जो cells हैं which have already entered and this will going to be killed with this phenomena. Differences between the humoral and cell mediated immunity. So here we have humoral and here cell mediated. Okay. So in humoral, it is mediated by B lymphocytes. Okay. Here it is mediated by T lymphocytes. Right. And here we see involvement of antibodies. Right. We see involvement of antibodies, but there is no involvement of any antibody. Okay, so there are the two differences, and the third is this is crucial for extracellular pathogen whereas cell mediated is crucial for intracellular pathogen. Okay, hope this is clear. This is about the immunity and types of immunity. Hope you liked the video. If you liked, do hit the like button, share with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe.